You are now tuned into On the Pitch with TJ's Picks. Here's your host, Tijuana RAF.
Welcome back to On the Pitch with TJ Picks, your host, TJ RAF. Welcome back, guys. Another episode. We're getting right into the soccer. Short little recap from last week. We missed the two-team over parlay by a goal. It was close. Should have had it, but we just missed it. It's okay, though, because we bounced back with the Harry Kane anytime goal. We caught it live, minus 140, minus 130. Some guys caught it even at a lower rate. Bingo, bango. He scored the penalty.
Let me intervene here, sir. I got to bow down to you because I hit a plus. I think it was about 800 and something parlay with PSG, and they were all pretty safe spots. I just felt you felt so confident. I felt so confident. I got a bonus from DraftKings. It was beautiful. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and well, you're recapping right there. I did give it away in the last podcast. I talked big about PSG, how they're coming back for blood. They did it. We had Barcola to score. That guy was at plus 225. I couldn't believe the number we were getting. He had scored 3 goals in the first 2 games, and we got him at plus 220. So I said he would score. I know you threw that into your parlay. You also threw in PSG to win, I believe, and the over 2.5. Is that what you took?
I had that, and then I had PSG to score first as well, too. I believe that rounded off the parlay as well, too. So it's just perfect.
There you go, fellas. I mean, that's just something that you get, one of the diamonds that you get from listening to the podcast and staying with us. I mean, we're going to be throwing out those every week. This week is international break. The big clubs, the European leagues are not playing this week. Mexican soccer is also not playing, but because we have a big tournament going on, we got the UEFA Nations League tournament with some of the biggest nations from Europe going head-to-head. So this is not club soccer. This is national soccer. This is where the club players, the best top club players, report to their nation team, and they go head-to-head with the other nations in Europe. But we'll get to there after we talk about the MLS. MLS is going on this Saturday. U.S. soccer doesn't care about the international break. They still play during this tournament because the USA national team doesn't have any games going on right now. So let's get right into that. MLS soccer action for Saturday. We're starting off with the Columbus Crew versus the Seattle Sounders, guys. 2 teams that are always at the top. Sounders took down the Columbus Crew the last matchup. Columbus Crew's playing a little bit better right now. Let me tell you what their standings are at the moment. Columbus Crew's in 3rd place in the MLS Eastern Conference. Western Conference, Seattle Sounders are in the 8th slot, fighting for those top 7 slots that get automatic berth to the playoffs. This is going to be a hell of a game. But give me the Columbus Crew. Give me the Columbus Crew to bounce back. This is going to be a revenge game for the Columbus Crew. And like I said, Seattle Sounders are battling for a playoff spot. Columbus Crew is already in the top 3. They're almost guaranteed a playoff spot at this point. But give me the Columbus Crew to get the win here. Payback from the revenge game. Moving on to the New England Revolution versus St. Louis SC. That's also going to be another good game here in the MLS. Let's look at what happened to these 2 teams last week. Revolution went down 2-0 to Real Salt Lake. Meanwhile, the St. Louis SC club ended up beating the Los Angeles Galaxy. Big game for them. Big underdogs in that game. So here we go. New England Revolution versus St. Louis SC. These MLS games are always back and forth. The favorite doesn't always win, so you got to be careful with these. Give me the St. Louis SC, even though they're in the lower division, lower bracket. Give me them to beat the New England Revolution on this game. Next game up, New York Red Bulls versus Sporting KC. New York Red Bulls, 4th place in the Eastern Conference, taking on the Sporting KC, who are all the way down to bottom 12th position in the Western Conference. Doesn't look like the Sporting KC is going to make it to the playoffs this year. New York Red Bulls at home. Give me the New York Red Bulls to win this game. Houston Dynamo taking on the Los Angeles FC, guys. LAFC coming off a big loss. Houston Dynamo at home taking on the Los Angeles FC. LAFC coming off a big loss in their last game. Guys, there's no way LAFC is going to lose this game. Give me the LAFC to power back with a big win over the Houston Dynamo this weekend. Moving on to the next game, Chicago Fire taking on DC United. Current rankings for the Chicago Fire. 14th place, DC United not too far ahead of them, in 11th place. Both of these teams need to do some work here to get some goals and get a win. Speaking of goals, I think we're going to see goals in this game. Chicago Fire, DC United. Give me some goals. Give me the over 2.5. Give me DC United to sneak out the win here. DC United. Finishing off Saturday, MLS action, Vancouver Whitecaps versus the FC Dallas. Current standings, Vancouver Whitecaps, 5th place in the Eastern Conference. FC Dallas all the way down to the 11th place. Top 9 teams make the playoffs, with the 8th and 9th team playing in a play-in game. Top 7 guaranteed to make it into the first round of the playoffs. FC Dallas versus Vancouver Whitecaps. Give me the Vancouver Whitecaps to win this one. And for our 2-team over parlay, we're going to stay with the MLS. I got 2 games for you. There's usually a lot of action in the US MLS Soccer League. 2-game over 2.5 parlay, New England Revolution versus St. Louis SC. And then we're going to Chicago Fire, DC United. Give me both of those games to go over 2.5 for our parlay. Let's get it. UEFA Nations League International Soccer. You gotta love it. It's back, and we're going to Europe. Let's get right into it. First game, the Battle of Nobodies. There's a lot of battles of nobodies here. Faroe Islands versus North Macedonia. And when I say Battle of Nobodies, guys, I actually like these games. These are these smaller countries that got nothing to lose. Nobody sees them winning any games, but when they face each other, guys, we tend to see goals going back and forth, and these lines are usually really low. So keep that in mind when you're watching European soccer, international competitions. Teams like Faroe Islands, North Macedonia, Armenia, Moldova, Malta. Where is Malta, guys? Do you guys know where Malta is? Just when these guys play, there tends to be goals because nobody expects it. So let's go into the first game. Faroe Islands taking on North Macedonia. So these guys are in the League C Group 4, Armenia, Faroe Islands, North Macedonia, Latvia. Those are the 4 teams in this group. Plenty of groups in this tournament. Lower competition in this one. Faroe Islands versus North Macedonia. Give me North Macedonia to get the win here. Moving on to the next game in the group, Armenia versus Latvia. Also in the morning, same group. Armenia had a win in their last matchup versus Kazakhstan, friendly international game, beating them 2-1. Latvia took down Faroe Islands 1-0 in the Baltic Cup. Head-to-head action between these 2 teams. Latvia actually took them down 2-0 in the European qualifiers. Latvia is away, though. Give me Armenia to come back with the revenge victory here. Armenia over Latvia in the second game. Moving on, Moldova versus Malta in the next matchup. Like I said, guys, these are small countries, small teams. Let's look at the competition in the last few games between Moldova and Malta. Last head-to-head game was a friendly international where they drew 0-0. Not much going on there. But in their last international friendlies, Moldova lost 0-4 to Ukraine. Before that, they did beat Cyprus 3-2. Meanwhile, Malta lost to Greece 2-0. Malta lost big to Czech Republic in a friendly international 7-1. We're talking about the bottom of the barrel here. Give me Moldova. I believe they're at home. Let me double check. Moldova, they are at home. Give me the edge, the home team here in a very low competition type of game. Moving on to the next game, Georgia versus the Czech Republic. Georgia is a plus 216 dog. Czech Republic is surprisingly a plus 117 favorite. This is early lines. Georgia just lost to Spain in the last international competition 4-1. They did sneak in a goal versus Spain, which is very hard to do. Czech Republic not doing too well in their last international competitions. Last game, they lost 2-1 to Turkey. Game before that, they tied Georgia 1-1. So we could see another tight match here. I do like the goals in this matchup, but I think that Czech Republic has the edge. Give me Czech Republic to win versus Georgia with some goals. Moving on, Ireland versus England. Harry Kane is back. Harry Kane will be representing for England, most likely going to be one of the lead strikers. Harry Kane did score for us in the big game. Bayern Munich the other day got a penalty. It was a penalty. He is their main penalty guy. So when you bet him to score and there's a penalty, he is going to be the guy that's going to be taking it. He also takes the penalties for England. England, on the other hand, still has not won a trophy with Harry Kane. UEFA Nations League round 1. It might be a boring game, but give me England to win versus Ireland. Another good game coming up next. Germany, minus 370 favorite, taking on Hungary, guys. Hungary is a pesky team. They do play hard. They hustle. They run their butts off, guys. I think they could sneak in a goal versus Germany. I see goals in this game. I like goals in this game. Germany versus Hungary. Give me the goals over goals, and also give me Germany to win this game. Moving on, Netherlands versus Bosnia. Netherlands has a lot of solid players, guys. Bosnia has some good players that are playing in some of the top teams in the European competition. Nether games, last game, they lost 2-1 to England. They beat Turkey 2-1, and they beat Romania 3-0. That's basically their last 3 games. Bosnia, on the other side, played a tough match versus Italy, friendly, lost 1-0. England took down Bosnia 3-0. Bosnia lost to Ukraine 1-2. Give me Netherlands to win this game. Netherlands, also known as Holland, Netherlands, is a big favorite, minus 588, guys. So you may want to take them minus 1.5, but just as a win, I know they're going to win. They should win, and they will win. Next game, Ukraine versus Albania. Looks like Ukraine's a minus 147 favorite. Albania at plus 395. These are two teams that have played a lot of games versus each other. And I believe, let me double check here, there was some games in the there was some goals in the last matchup between these two teams. Ukraine versus Albania. And there it is. I was right. I remembered this. 4-1 in the international friendly the last time these two teams played. And before that, it was a 3-1. They were both friendlies, but there were goals. Ukraine last game tied 0-0 versus Belgium, beat Slovakia 2-1. Ukraine lost to Romania 3 games ago. Albania had that loss to Spain 1-0, Croatia 2-2 versus Italy 2-1. Give me goals in this game, but give me Ukraine to take the victory. Final game, Greece and Finland. 2 lower level type of teams going head to head in the final game on Saturday for the UEFA Nations League round 1 of competition. Greece coming off a 2-0 victory over Malta in a friendly international game. Meanwhile, Finland tied 2-2 with Scotland. Game before that, they lost 4-2 to powerhouse Portugal, but they did score 2 goals against those guys. That's not very easy to score goals versus Portugal. Give me goals in Greece versus Finland. It's a tough one. It's almost a coin flip. But give me Greece at home, minus 145, early line to take the victory here. And we got some more action on Sunday. UEFA Nations League continues, beginning with Luxembourg and Belarus. Luxembourg and Belarus. Can you guys find Luxembourg and Belarus on the map? I don't think so. Luxembourg coming off a loss versus Belgium, and their last game was a friendly international. Friendlies, you can't really, say too much about those. The players kind of go half-ass. You never know who's going to play. Usually the backups, the stars see a few minutes. So never put a lot of money on friendlies. Belarus also lost their last international friendly 4-0 to Israel. So we got two teams coming off some big losses. Last head-to-head competition, Belarus took down Luxembourg 2-0. Last time Luxembourg won versus Belarus was back in 2017. So I think just based on that, we're going to have to go with Belarus to get the victory here. Belarus with the victory in this game. Moving on to Slovakia and Azerbaijan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what we're going to roll with. Slovakia, Azerbaijan, head-to-head. Azerbaijan beat Slovakia 2-1. Slovakia won the game before that. Rubber match, we could say, is coming up this Sunday. Slovakia versus Azerbaijan. Give me Slovakia to take the victory here. Moving on to the next game, Bulgaria, North Ireland. Bulgaria coming off a 1-1 draw. Actually, Bulgaria has tied their last three games, 1-1, 0-0, 1-1. Northern Ireland last game won 2-0 and went down big versus Spain in a friendly international 5-1. Bulgaria is at home. Northern Ireland, you never know what you're going to get with them. Give me Bulgaria. Bulgaria to win this one.
And I'll take the under on that game.
There you go. There you go. Next matchup, Denmark versus Serbia. Another good matchup between two teams that battle it out. Last head-to-head, though, 0-0. The game before that, 3-0 win for Denmark. Denmark is at home, but Serbia likes to pressure and has some good talent up top. Even though the last game was 0-0, I'm expecting a low line here for the over-under. I'm going to actually go with goals today, guys, on this one. For Sunday, Denmark versus Serbia. Give me the over. It might even be over 2. I like to take those over 2 sometimes because if they get 2 goals, you get a push here in the soccer bets. So give me the over in Denmark versus Serbia and give me Denmark to take the victory. Next up, Gibraltar versus Liechtenstein. Got to get my lingo in here in these games. Gibraltar versus Liechtenstein. Both teams have had some low-scoring games in their last few competitions. 1-0, 0-0. We're going to have to go with the home team here, guys. Gibraltar. Sometimes you just got to go with the home team when it's two teams that aren't known for doing well in soccer, low-level action. Take the home team. Coming up with the next game, Sweden versus Estonia. I gotta love the Estonia League. In my free plays, guys, we go to the Estonia League quite a bit. It's a random division with random games, random teams, but there's a lot of goals. It's almost like they're playing with no keepers, no goalies. We seem to see there's certain games where you'll see a 12-0, 12-1 score. So I got to give some love for Estonia. But Sweden is a stronger team here. Sweden at home. Give me Sweden to take the victory versus Estonia. Moving on to the next game, two of the bigger European national teams. Croatia taking on Poland. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Poland. They do have Lewandowski, who is now one of the top stars for Barcelona. He's getting a little bit older now, but he still scores. He's a lethal striker. But when Poland plays, there's not too many goals. He doesn't have anybody else to back him up on the scoring action side of things. And Poland has a really good defense. So Croatia versus Poland is going to be a difficult game to pick. It most likely won't be high scoring. Croatia coming off a 1-1 tie to Italy and a 2-2 draw with Albania isn't doing too well. Poland coming off a 1-1 draw with France. Big competition there. As you've seen, like what I said, low scoring. Poland also lost to Austria 3-1. So this is going to be a tricky one. Not giving me their head-to-head action here right now. Give me a draw. We're going to pick a draw on this one, guys. Croatia, Poland, give me a draw, 1-1, 0-0, 2-2. If I had to say, if I had to pick, for those of you that want to pick a winner, I'll say Croatia, but I think that we're leaning towards a draw in this game. I want to mix it up with this one. Portugal at home versus Scotland. Portugal is the team of Ronaldo, one of the biggest GOATs of all soccer. Some say him, Messi, who's the GOAT. I mean, you can't deny the fact that Ronaldo is getting super old now, still dominating, still scoring goals. The physique of that guy, man, six-pack, you name it. He's in very good health. He's a stud. He's a great soccer player. Portugal versus Scotland. I believe Ronaldo is playing. I haven't looked in a little bit too much, but he likes to come back and play in these competitions. Portugal is very stacked. They have a bunch of other good players. Give me goals in this game and give me Portugal to get the victory here. Portugal. Moving to the last game of the UEFA Nations League Round 1 competition for Sunday. Switzerland taking on Spain. Guys, we're going to have goals here. Spain is one of the top teams right now in competition, in European competition. They got some young studs, some veterans who are still in the mix. Give me Spain to get this one. Spain with the victory, and give me goals over 2.5. That'll do it for UEFA Nations League. That'll do it for the weekend soccer action, guys. Let's go. Let's get some wins and let's cash on these bets. Good luck. All right, let's do some grandma parlays for this weekend. Nations UEFA League Round 1, Saturday, parlay number 1. Give me Netherlands and Harry Kane's England to both get the victory. Parlay those two up. I think it gives you a -31 on most books, -130, right around there. Great line. Netherlands, England for the first parlay for Saturday. Sunday, we got another good parlay. Give me Portugal, give me Sweden. Put them together, and we got another victory right there, guys. These are my grandma's parlays for the weekend. UEFA Nations Soccer League. If you want to get a little bit frisky, put all 4 of them together and get a +200, 230. Let's go. Netherlands, England, Portugal, Sweden. One more thing, guys. I cannot believe the line that I'm seeing. I know they are away. Spain is a -135 versus Switzerland, guys. I can't believe they're giving us this. Take Spain -135 money line. Take Spain to the books, to the window. Let's go. Spain with the win over Switzerland. NFL is back, fellas. I do know football, which is soccer to you, but I also do know the American football that stole the name from soccer. So let's get into it, guys. Week 1, it's exciting. Be careful, though, because NFL is a tricky sport to bet. There'll be a lot of cappers out there telling you that it's their best sport. Beware. These are the type of guys that say that every sport is their best sport. So, of course, as soon as the NFL is back in action, they're saying you're going to make a lot of money with them, but just be very cautious. And let's get right into it, guys. Sunday action. Game 1, Tennessee Titans versus the Chicago Bears. I think the spread right now is Tennessee Titans -4, Over-under is 45. I do want to talk a little bit about the over-unders. I see a lot of low over-unders in week 1. So you could take that one way, you could take that the other way. And, a lot of you like to bet overs in NFL, but just remember, this is week 1. And one of the things that I like to look at games like this is that spread. I mean, so if they get a field goal and win by a field goal, the Bears do not cover that spread. So this -4 is a tricky number. I know the Chicago Bears have a new quarterback. They got him in the first round, I believe. I'm not too big on names, but I do know that he is, pretty out there in the ways of, he's kind of, I don't know how you say, he's egotistical. I don't know. I think this quarterback is going to be a bust for the Chicago Bears. And like I said, I'm a soccer guy, so off the top of my head right now, I don't know his name, but he is a big star, and they're hoping that he's going to do well for them, and he is going to dominate. But even though they are playing in Chicago, they are the favorites. I like to do teasers. So this is one of these games where I'd like to do a teaser. I'd like to take Tennessee Titans plus the points and the under. And with a lot of books, you could get up to 7 points. So we're talking Titans plus 11, under 52. I love that teaser. And in some books, you could even do four team teasers, which means you could pick 4 teams. You could pick the spread and the under for all 4 teams, or you could do the all 4 overs or all 4 over unders, all 4 spreads. So shop around for the books that give you the most value, that give you the most options. Straight up, give me Tennessee Titans plus 4. Moving on to the next game in Buffalo, Arizona Cardinals. You know what? Buffalo Bills, they say this is the year. They keep saying this is their year. Very stacked team. Cardinals, not so great. Not doing too well last couple of years. But let's look at the line. My app is showing Buffalo Bills -6.5. Whenever you see a -6.5, -7, I mean, you could even buy a point to -5.5. This 6.5 worries me, especially for a team that should be favored by a lot more points. I mean, it's a tricky one, but I'm gonna take the Arizona Cardinals plus 6.5 here as well.
I mean, that hurts my soul a little bit because this game I have quite a bit of take on. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan through and through.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So let me
and
know.
the
Let me know
problem is
your
Josh
opinion.
Allen. The problem is Josh Allen, right? As much as we love him, he's got to figure out that red zone. He throws interceptions in the red zone quite a bit, and every once in a while he's got the game locked in, and then he's just not there. He gets frazzled in the pocket at times. So that's why right now they don't know what Josh Allen they're going to get. I think if they knew Josh Allen was going to come and scorch Arizona, then the line would be a lot wider. But it's just more or less, is he going to be in the game? How is he going to come out in game 1? I just want to see him start strong, build confidence. I want to see him run a little bit more this year. So I'm hoping that he can get a little bit more yards this year. He didn't run as much last year, and that's partly due to their old offensive coordinator. So I hope they run him a little bit more. I don't want him to put himself at risk, but at the same time, when he runs and he's rolling that way is when he plays his best ball. He doesn't think, he throws the ball well. So I mean, I could see where there's value on that, to be honest. You go in the other route, because you just don't know what kind of Buffalo Bills squad you're going to get come game day.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not saying the Buffalo Bills are going to lose. I just know that when you see lines like this, when you talk about lines and the stuff that I've seen year in, year out with the lines and the line movement, the Vegas books know what they're doing. And to the average bettor, your neighbor that's out there, they're going to say, oh, Buffalo Bills are going to win at least by a touchdown. That should be easy, especially at home with all the talent that they have. So, and they do tend to give the public wins in the first weekend. So I'm kind of going on the edge by taking Arizona Cardinals. I may buy up to +7, but I just have a feeling that Buffalo Bills are going to get backdoored at the end. They could be up by 10 points, 13 points, and then Cardinals get a BS touchdown at the end. And I know you've seen that multiple times. So I think that's going to happen. Buffalo Bills money line, you could parlay that. Here's another thing, though. If it was that easy to just parlay the favorites in NFL, we're talking minus 300, minus 250, everybody would be rich. But it's not that easy. So be careful if you're parlaying teams that are supposed to win any given Sunday. You never know what's going to happen. So good luck on that one.
One more thing about that game too. Buffalo last year, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm pretty sure they started pretty slow in a lot of their games last year and put it on heavier in the second half. So they're a potent offense, but look at what that total is for the first half and see if there's any value in it. That might be something to look at.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Like you said, if they start off slow and it takes them a little while to get rolling, that might be something to look at as well. The over under is set at 48. I may have to go under in that game too. 48 is the over under. So give me the under. Buffalo Bills money line, but give me Arizona Cardinals +7. I'm going to buy half a point. Let's go. Moving on to the next game, we're heading to Indianapolis, Houston Texans -3, over under 49. It's in Indianapolis, but the Texans, of course, CJ Stroud with his weapons, great season they had last year. I'm going to have to go with the Texans to cover here. Moving on to the next game, Carolina Panthers visiting the New Orleans Saints. Line is set at Saints -4, over under very low, 41.5. A lot of you see those numbers, 40, 41.5, and like to jump on the over quick. Be careful with those low lines. Here's one of those other -4s. Guys, I gotta go Panthers +4 here. Give me the Panthers +4 just because the lines. There's a lot of sports that I look into where the lines tell a story, and this is one of them here. -4, New Orleans Saints, over under 41.5. Give me the under and the Carolina Panthers +4. Moving on, we're headed to Cincinnati. Cincinnati Bengals hosting the New England Patriots. Big line here. Cincinnati Bengals didn't make it to the big game last year, and they're big favorites at home. -8 spread, over under 40.5, another low one. Gotta give me those points. New England Patriots +8. I don't care who you are. Cincinnati Bengals, Burrows, doesn't matter. Give me the Patriots to cover those 8 points.
And I like that. I think the way that the Bengals sort of finished last year and just, I don't know, man, they seem to underachieve. They're a team that Burrows, although he is sort of the Adonis that everybody loves in the NFL, I don't know, man. I was already looking at, even for Josh Allen, unfortunately, I'm looking at interception props in game one. The interception props are probably pretty live in game one. I don't know what the statistical numbers are, but those guys threw quite a bit last year. So
All right. I like it. Moving on to the Falcons at home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me ask you something here. Why do you think the Atlanta Falcons are favored -3 here? Is it just because they're at home? Or is it because new acquisitions, players leaving, coming and going? What do you think?
for me, like, because I'm not in tune with what happened in the offseason, I still have to sort of play catch up right now. I would imagine that might be it. I can't. I was looking at maybe an under in this game, but I think that it could be moves in the offseason. Something I have to look into to myself. So
According to my stats here, the last head-to-head, Steelers won 24-0. But that could have been because it was a meaningless game or, totally different quarterback, receivers. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% there. That's why I'm surprised that the Falcons are favored. I know they're at home, but seeing that, as a big blowout for the Steelers to win basically a shutout. And, I know it's a whole different season, but Falcons, I think the Falcons got a new quarterback. Like I said, I'm a soccer guy. That is right. Let me just double look because I got to look into that. Falcons do have a new quarterback. I think they acquired him in the offseason. Kirk Cousins. Mr. Prime Time doesn't do too well on prime time, but that's why the Falcons are favorites in this game. But Pittsburgh Steelers, especially after that big game win in the last head-to-head competition, giving them 3 points. This is a tricky one. Over-under is 42. I like what you said. Let's go with the under 42.5. Kirk Cousins, does he have enough? Did he practice enough to learn the system? New quarterback, new team, first game of the season. I think it's going to be a little bit back and forth with a lot of punts. Let's go with the under in Pittsburgh Steelers and Atlanta Falcons. And you know what? I'm actually going to go with Kirk Cousins. Give me Atlanta Falcons to win big at home. Kirk Cousins showing he's the real deal and is going to come back and wake up these Atlanta Falcons. Falcons -3. Let's go. Moving on to Miami. Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the Miami Dolphins. This one has a higher over-under, 49 points. Dolphins -3.5. Weapons. Give me the Miami Dolphins -3.5 to win this game. I think they're just a better team. Tyreek Hill is back. Tua, I am not a big fan of Tua. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I mean, he's good. I just don't think he has what it takes to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. I hope he does prove me wrong. They do put up a lot of points. So I think the public's going to be all over the over. I do think the Miami Dolphins are going to cover here. It is 3.5. It's a little bit tight. They do let you buy down to 2.5. I hope it's not a trap. Give me the Miami Dolphins.
Tua's going to probably throw quite a few yards, but he's also going to throw 1 or 2 interceptions. So that's what I would bank on 1,000%. And this is also a stat that I think that late in the season, his interception wasn't as valuable to bet. And early in the season, you're probably going to get a decent line on it. So something to look at. Tua likes to throw interceptions. At least like if he corrected it last year, I don't know. But yeah, give me that. I know I love the interceptions, but early in the season, I'll play with that one.
And this could be one of those games where we see an interception from both sides. I do believe some books let you bet interception from both sides. So I do see there being some points in this game. I'm just not a fan of Tua. I think he's got terrible form. He buckles under pressure. And I just don't think he can throw for, like you said, a lot of yards, but he makes a lot of mistakes. And I do think they will cover, though. Miami Dolphins to cover and possibly an over here. Moving on to New York. This is a tight one. Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. I got to go under. It's 41 for a reason. Give me the under 41. Man, I just may have to flip a coin on this one because we're talking about two terrible teams who haven't been doing that great. Vikings -1.5. You know what? Give me the New York Giants to win at home. Slight dog. Give me the New York Giants. What do you think here? You gonna flip a coin?
No, I like your first inclination when you went with the under. That's sort of like how I like to attack the first couple of weeks. A lot more over-unders. Games that traditionally are expected to go under or over. I'll attack those because it's so hard to see how certain teams are going to match up. You never quite know exactly how things are going to line up perfectly. But yeah, I'll take the under and follow you on that one.
All right, let's do it. Let's bet the under. Moving on to the next game. We're going to Seattle. Denver Broncos versus the Seattle Seahawks. 42 over under. You know what? For some reason, I'm liking the over here in the Seattle Seahawks versus the Denver Broncos. This is just a gut feeling. I just feel there's going to be some points, some possibly a defensive touchdown here. Surprisingly, the Seattle Seahawks are -6 favorites. This is that -6, -7 that Vegas loves to throw out there. They let you buy a point to get it to exactly 7. I got to go with the Denver Broncos +6, even though I know they're the lesser opponents. Give me the Denver Broncos +6. Who do you got here?
With the Broncos, was there any major changes in the offseason, or are they pretty
Uh,
much rolling with?
You know what? I couldn't tell you. Like I said, I'm a soccer guy. I don't know
Yeah, no,
too
I
much
get it.
of the info. But
You got an
as
MMA guy and a soccer guy talking football. Love it.
yeah, there you go, guys. So don't bet. We do know some info, and we might surprise you and get a lot of wins here. So we got an MMA guy and a soccer guy talking NFL, but don't turn it off because I will throw some nuggets in there as we move
Yeah,
forward.
here's the thing though, Raf, too. When you're someone who looks at soccer and you look at numbers, you need to understand football obviously to a level, but you can take the same, ways you apply your theories and your betting strategy to soccer and you apply it to football. And I'll take you over someone who thinks they know football and is a fanboy who bets all bullshit all day long and selling me bullshit online. So um why I asked about the Broncos of last year is they tend to leave a lot on the table. Although they do score a lot of points at times, they tend to leave a lot on the table. And I was going to look at kicks in this game, potentially look at the kickers or look at points that way, because I do think they could score quite a few points in this game, but I think that they're going to leave a little bit on the table and they'll be done by the kickers as well.
And like you said, man, I do know NFL. We don't know all the players, and I have followed sports betting for the last 10 years doing while I've been doing this, and I've seen it all. I mean, you could take favorites every week in the NFL. You could take teams that you think are going to win, and it's just not going to happen. I honestly think the NFL is up there with baseball as one of the hardest sports to bet. It is tricky, and I know for a fact that a lot of people lose money on NFL betting week in, week out. The books are happy that NFL is back because people think that they're going to win a lot of money, and these cappers will promise you that, it's like a pyramid scheme. They're going to promise you that you're going to win big, but it does not happen. If betting in NFL was easy, we'd have people rich every NFL season, and that's not the case. I'm telling you right now that books are happy that the NFL is back, and it's for a reason. So be careful with the NFL. Don't get too crazy with it. Take it easy and just be cautious. Moving on to the next game. Las Vegas Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers. This one is one that I would like to talk about quite a bit because I am a Raiders fan. Unfortunately, I grew up a Raiders fan when they were in Los Angeles. That's why I almost said Los Angeles. As a young kid, I was silver and black, and I have followed them, even through the tough times and the good times, and they flat out suck. But on the other side, Los Angeles Chargers, I hate the Los Angeles Chargers, which are normally from San Diego. I went to college in San Diego, so I had to battle it out with friends that were big Charger fans. So it's a big rivalry game. I do believe Los Angeles Chargers are playing without their head quarterback, though. He's still injured. Herbert. Raiders have Minshew, and then they have O'Connell. So it's kind of like there was a meme the other day where the guys, if you ever go in to check your eye vision, they say, "Is this one better?" No, maybe this one's better. And they're showing both quarterbacks for the Raiders on who should be the starter. And if you take that analogy, it's pretty much they're both not that great. And the Chargers are playing with the backup quarterback in game one, if I'm not mistaken. So this game is close to my heart because it's a big rivalry match. It's a team I hate versus my team, and I know my team sucks. Over under 40.5, Chargers -3. My heart is saying Raiders +3 because I just hate the Chargers, and I'd never like to do hard bets because if you put your heart into a bet, you're most likely going to lose. Never bet with your heart, always bet with your wallet. So, with all that being said, I'm going to the over under. I think this is like the Spain game that I was talking about earlier. The over under is 40.5. Both of these teams' defenses are not that great. The Chargers, yes, have shown some sparks of having a good defense here and there. The Raiders' defense is terrible, very terrible, but they can score. It could be a game where the Chargers score a bunch of goals. I mean touchdowns. Field goals do happen too as well. Give me the over 40.5, and give me the Raiders +3. I'm going with my heart on that one. It's a hard bet, so don't take that to the bank. So what's your take on this game, sir?
No take for me on this one. I was actually even possibly looking at buying points and going to the under, but the fact that you're maybe leaning over, I'm just going to stay off it altogether.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going on the over just because I know these defenses, especially for the Raiders. The Raiders defense is bad, and it doesn't matter if it's a backup quarterback for the Chargers. The Chargers will put up points. And I think just because it's the first game of the season, the Raiders will also put up some points. They still have Devontae Adams, the receiver, and a couple of new players. So I do see an over. If I were to tease this game, I would tease it Raiders +10, over 33.5. If you buy 7 points on the teaser, that's a solid teaser right there. Give me the Raiders +3. Give me the over.
And I'll sprinkle Adams TD prop.
There you go. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. 40.5 over under. Browns favored at -2.5. Cowboys with Dak Prescott, he never always chokes at the end too as well. Always has good receivers, good running backs. Cowboys are just like my Raiders, man. They're just terrible teams, man. They never haven't done well for a long time, and they just seem to be the bottom of the barrels now, and they haven't been able to wake up. Cleveland Browns -2.5, though. That's one of those tricky lines as well. Over under is 40 points. This is a tricky one. It's almost a coin flip. Give me the Cleveland Browns -2.5. I don't even think I'm going to touch over under here. But if I were to touch it, I'll take the over 4.5, 40.5. Over 40.5. Browns -2.5 in Cleveland. Let's go. What do you got there?
Yeah, not a bad way to look at it. I think with the Cowboys, they can still put up points. They can put up quite a few points, but they just can't put it together. They can't bring it together. And Dak Prescott's just not a good leader. So, yeah, I mean, I could see points in this game. Definitely, I think the way that you attacked it's probably perfect. But the Cowboys could contribute huge to the point total, but then still blow it at the end. So, to take a side on the Cowboys, I could see why you're on the other end.
All right. Moving on to our next game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Washington Commanders. I hate calling them the Washington Commanders. They will always be the Redskins in my view. So I'm going to call them the Redskins. Redskins taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, over under 44 points. Buccaneers -3.5. Give me the under 44 points here, under 44, just because these teams, I think are going to battle back and forth. It's going to be some punts here. It's the first game of the season, but I will take the Buccaneers -3 by half a point, maybe by a full point, -2.5. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the under 44. Final game, prime time. Los Angeles Rams versus the Detroit Lions. This should be a good one for Sunday night. Detroit Lions showed very good action last season, playing very well. I think the last couple of seasons, Los Angeles Rams up and down. This is a primetime game, though. So remember, when we talk about primetime games, in primetime games, it tends to be the dogs covering and unders. We tend to get a lot of unders. We're talking about, I've been tracking primetime NFL games for the last 8 to 10 years, and we're talking about 60% to 70% of the dogs cover, and 60 to 70% of the primetime NFL games go under. So if you were to just bet NFL primetime games and bet the dog and bet the under, you're hitting at a 60 to 75% hit rate in the last 8 to 10 years. That's just unheard of. Keep that in mind as the season moves forward, because I will keep tracking the primetime games and will keep those stats up on my Instagram page. So keep that in mind. With that being said, give me a teaser, primetime, big time teaser for the NFL primetime game of the night, Sunday night. Give me the Los Angeles Rams plus 10.5, under 58. That should be across the board on most of the books, but we're going with the under teaser with the dog for the first primetime NFL game of the night for Sunday night. That's going to be a big bet. Let's go.
And I do like the under on that too. That is something that I've sort of caught wind of last season with primetime games, especially Thursday night games, man. Early in the season last season, you could just bet the under quite handily, and they were just cashing. The scores were close, and teams were either giving up the ball, fumbling the ball, and it was just constantly passing the ball back and forth. I don't know what it is, whether it's under the lights on Thursday or it's just the short amount of games. I don't really know what it is, but Thursday nights seem to be cashing in the unders quite a bit last year. So I was actually going to ask you about that. So thank you for bringing that up.
And that will do it, guys, for the NFL breakdown for Sunday, week 1. Hope you enjoyed the show. Just remember, guys, if you ever have any questions, you can hit me up directly on my Instagram at Tijuana Picks. Hit me up. I usually respond to everybody, guys, as soon as I can and get a chance. Any questions? I do have a free Telegram Picks page. Link in my bio on Instagram. VIP action. I'm giving a special discounted price for the month of September. Months are normally $150. I'm doing the month, the rest of September for $100, guys. You can't beat that. You get access to a VIP exclusive chat where all my VIP members come together and we're in there shooting it up, talking about sports day in, day out, 24/7. Nobody in the business provides a VIP chat like mine, guys. Got to get in there, especially right now. $100 gets you in. There's no better.
And to put this into perspective, I gotta help you on this one. The
Mhm.
Barcola was like plus 220. You put that in the
Yep.
chat. If you even have a small unit size that you put down on that, you cash, you pretty much already cover your premier with one play. You could almost
Oh,
cover everything with one play on one bet, and then from there, everything else is gravy. So the value is there, guys. There's so much value you see on the podcast. I gotta just clamor for the idea that you gotta get in the VIPs, get all the takes, the locks. When you get the ones that are high percentage hits, you're just cashing. It's an investment more than it is anything else.
yeah. Plus, alone, if you just jump into my free Telegram, you're getting winners day in, day out for free just for the people because I like giving back to the community. And like you said, the majority of my VIP clients make their subscription fees back in the very first day with 1 or 2 bets. There's guys in there that bet low. They make their money back in the first 5 bets, guys. So take that into account when you think about joining VIPs. And one thing, I'm not going to go into names and call people out, but as new bettors, as you're joining the betting communities, just beware of the scams that are out there. If the ticket looks too good to be true, it most likely is. If people are telling you they're going to help you quit your job with sports betting, it's not going to happen, guys. They're going to promise you the world. They're going to take your money. If they're charging more than $300-400 a month, it's probably not worth it. So just be careful out there, guys. I want to be a member of the community that tells you guys the truth. If you're betting money that you can't afford to lose, you should not be betting, guys. This is an extra income type of thing. It is better than the stock market, guys, because the ROI, return on investment with sports betting, if you're doing the right bets and you're betting smart, you will make money, but just be cautious out there, guys. There's tons of people that are claiming to be the best at certain sports and are just selling you dreams, and it's not going to happen. So just be cautious out there, bet smart. And just to give you an example, my September VIP started on September 2. We have had 0 VIP soccer bets because I'm not going to force a bet. We've had a lot of free plays. We've had a lot of bets in my VIP exclusive chat that have been hitting, but actual official VIP soccer bets have not started yet just because the main soccer action has not begun. So keep that in mind when sports betting, guys. Thank you for joining us on the pitch with Tijuana Picks. TJ RAF signing out. Boom shakalaka. Good luck.